Here I have some recycling paper, paper that I'm not going to use, and I'm going to roll it up into things that I can use to make my crossbow. So I'm going to roll this paper up kind of like you roll sushi, kind of, not exactly. So here I'm going to start, and I have my pencil, and I want to make the entire edge of my paper curved. And then, if you see, I'm sticking out the end of my pencil because as I roll this paper, I'm going to need to be able to pull the pencil out. So here I'm trying to pull the pencil out. I'm going to finish rolling the paper. And oops, I didn't get that quite right, and that's okay. Don't worry if you don't get this on the first try, the second try, the third try. Just don't give up. You'll get it. It takes a lot of practice. I've been rolling paper rolls for a long time. So now I've got it really good and tight. I have to try and pull that pencil out in a minute. So here I've got a piece of tape. I'm going to rip it up, and I'm going to finish rolling up my first paper roll. So now this is important. I'm going to tape the top and the bottom of my paper roll. I want to tape it down really tightly because I want my paper rolls to be nice and strong. I don't want them to be loose because they're going to provide a lot of structural support for my crossbow. So I've taped the top and the bottom, I've taped the middle, and I pulled out my pencil. Okay, so there's my first paper roll. Now I'm going to take some more paper, and again, this is paper that was already used for something else, and now I'm recycling it. So recycle stuff that you have rather than have to throw it away or put it in the recycling bin right away. So here I'm going to try and roll up the ends of my page so that it's easier for me to roll with my pencil. So I'm going to roll the sides, roll the middle, so it's going to look nice and curved like that. That makes it easier for me to roll my paper. Okay, so now I'm going to stick my pencil, make sure a little bit of it's sticking out of the paper so I can pull it out. And then I'm going to try and roll it. Now I'm holding both sides of the paper, even though there's only a pencil on one side. Now I've had students who tape together 2 or 3 pencils so it's longer than the paper. That's a really clever way to roll paper rolls. If you want to borrow that technique, they were very smart to think of that. So here I'm going to pull my pencil out. And this one's really tight. I have to work really hard to try and pull it out, and I'm screwing it out slowly. Okay, so I'm trying to pull that out. Okay, there it goes. All right, now, that didn't work out so well. I wasn't very happy with it, so I'm going to try again, because look, that little eraser came off my pencil. So don't worry if it takes you several tries to make your paper rolls. When I first learned to make paper rolls, it took me a lot of practice. I'm only able to do it quickly now because I practiced a lot for many years, so don't worry. This is something that I say, well, it's very simple. It's not easy. It's really simple to understand how to make a paper roll. We all know how to do it, but it's not easy to get your fingers to do it right. So that's the part that you have to practice a lot. So there I'm putting my tape on, and I like to try and pull my tape nice and tight, smooth it down. So now I've got 2 paper rolls, and I'm going to check my tape, just make sure everything's nice and smooth. Okay, these 2 are looking good. I need to make 1 more. Now I'm rolling these paper rolls long ways. Sometimes at school we call these hot dog ways. We're going to end up rolling 3 hot dogs and 3 hamburgers. So 3 rolls that are long and then 3 rolls that are using the shorter side. So I'm ripping off my tape ahead of time so I have it ready. And now here we go. I'm going to roll this one section right there. Get a nice curve going. I'm going to roll the middle section so I can get a curve right there. Then I'm going to stick it out the end. I'm going to roll the other end so that I have a curve all the way from one side of the paper to the other. All right, and that's what it looks like. You want it curved like that. Okay, so now I'm going to stick my pencil out the edge. I want to make sure there's a little bit extra so I can pull it out. I'm going to use my fingers to try and roll both sides at the same time. So there's my roll. And I'm going to push, push, push. Try to keep my paper nice and tight. And then I'm going to hold it and pull out my pencil and put my tape on the edges. I want to put tape on the edge. And I also want to put tape in the middle. So there's one edge. I'm going to tape another edge. And any type of tape will do. You don't have to have blue tape. That's just what I could find, lying around. Any tape at all. Okay, so there it is. It's been taped up. Now those are my 3 long tubes, my 3 hot dog tubes. Now I'm going to make 3 hamburger tubes. So look, I'm not rolling the long side of my paper anymore. I'm rolling the short side of my paper. That's the hamburger side, not the long hot dog side. But I'm still going to stick part of my pencil out at the end because I need to pull it out when I'm done. So I'm going to roll, roll, roll. And I didn't like how that one was turning out, so I'm going to start over again. Don't worry, you can start over as many times as you need. It's about doing a good job, not about doing a fast job. So here I'm going to roll, roll, roll till I get all the way to the end. And although that roll isn't perfect, I think that's going to be good enough. So I'm going to come in with my tape. Remember, I'm going to try and pull my tape nice and tight, wrap it around. And if you have trouble with your tape and you have to start your roll over again, that's okay. Even if you roll the paper over and over many times, it doesn't hurt the paper. You'll still have a good strong roll in the end. So don't worry if your rolling or your taping doesn't work out perfectly the first time or the second time or the third time. So there's my short paper roll right there. Now I'm going to make a second short paper roll or a hamburger roll. And I'm going to rip my tape ahead of time so I have it nice and ready when I finish rolling my paper. So there I'm ripping up my tape. You can use scissors to help you cut your tape. Sometimes you have tape that comes out of a dispenser and it has like little sharp teeth that help you rip it. Those are all good ways. So here I'm going to roll the edge a little bit because I want it to have a curve before I start rolling. So I've done both sides. I have a little bit of my pencil sticking out. And now I'm going to roll, roll, roll. Just like that. And if you have to try again, don't worry about it. You can use the same piece of paper and roll over and over and over again. I'm going to put that tape on nice and tight. I'm going to put some more tape on there. I'm going to pull it nice and tight, wrap it around and smooth it down. I'm going to put it in the middle right there too. Okay, so there's my second short roll, my hamburger roll. I have to make one more. I need 3 long rolls and 3 short rolls. So here I am. I'm going to curve the edge just a little bit because it makes it easier. So I'm curving that edge. I'm curving the other edge and I have a little bit of my pencil that's sticking out so that when I roll it, there's my roll. That's what it looks like. I can pull the pencil out. So there it is, sticking out the edge. I'm gonna roll, 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 roll. Okay, almost to the edge. There we go. Now I'm gonna pull this out. I'm gonna put some tape on the edges. Then I'm gonna put some tape in the middle. Okay, now there's my 3 short tubes. And I also have 3 long tubes. Here's my 3 long tubes. Look at the difference. Here's my long side. That's the 11-inch side of the paper. And here's my short side. That's the 8.5-inch side of the paper. So you need to have 3 of each. So I'm going to take my 3 long sticks and I'm going to bundle them together to make we'll call it a handle. It's the part of the crossbow that you have to be able to hold with your hand. So now I'm ripping much longer pieces of tape than I was before because I need to wrap it really tight around my long bundle. So again, this is the long side, the hot dog side, not the short hamburger side. Okay, now I'm going to get a second piece and I'm going to wrap it again. So there we go. That's looking pretty good for right now. So I've got my 3 short tubes. And I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to put it to the side. Pick the one that feels the strongest and put that to the side. So now I've got these other tubes and I need to find about where the middle part is. Somewhere where the middle part is. And I want to bend it. And usually I'll try and bend at the edge of a table or over a book. Sometimes I'll just use my hands if I can't do something like that. But I want to find the edge right there. There's the edge. And then I'm going to bend it just like that. And if you don't get it perfectly in the middle, I did not get it perfectly in the middle, that's okay. We can work around that. But we're going to try and bend it so that we can make 2 triangles that fit one on top of the other. So here's my triangle and it's not quite even. So I'm going to try and bend it a little bit. And there's my other one. There's my triangle. It's also not quite even. I'm using my fingers to try and bend it, make it a bit more even. So if it doesn't bend exactly the way you want it first, it's okay. You can fix it. So there we go. I've got 2 triangles that fit right on top of each other. And now I'm going to need to make what I call feet for the triangles. I want feet that are sticking out. So I'm going to show you. I'm just going to do this with my fingers. You might do this at the edge of your table. But I want to have some flat feet that stick away from the triangle. So there I'm bending my little flat feet. It may be about 1 inch, a little more than 1 inch or so. Not super big. There's my little feet. Like that. Kind of looks like it's walking. But a weird walk, like you had your feet sticking out away from you. Okay, so now I'm going to bend some feet for my second triangle. So there I'm bending it up. And I'm going to bend some more feet. Now these feet are important. We need to attach our triangles to that one lonely short stick that we didn't bend. And if we don't make these feet, it's going to be hard for us to be able to properly connect these. Okay, so there's my 2 triangles with my 2 feet. And they should be able to fit one on top of each other. And the feet should all be pointing in the same direction. So look, I'm going to show you what it looks like. There's our big long stick. We're going to put that over there. Here's our one short stick. So we're going to try and fit our triangles on top of our one stick, just like that. We're going to make one big triangle, and the stick we didn't bend, that's the base of the triangle. So there we go. That's the base of our triangle, and then we have these 2 other triangles that fit on top of it. And this is going to be the triangle part of our crossbow. So now I'm going to take long tape. I want it to be really long. And I've ripped my tape in half just because my tape is really wide. You don't have to rip your tape in half if you don't want to. And again, you can use any type of tape you want, but you want a good long amount of it. And you want to put it on and pull it really tight. You want that tape to cover not just your straight stick, but both of your triangles. Now, I need to reinforce the structure of my crossbow. So I have some chopsticks lying around. You might have popsicle sticks. You might have pencils maybe, or even pens or like markers that have dried out that you can't really color with anymore. You just need something that's very strong. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my sticks and I'm going to reinforce the base, the bottom of my triangle. So I'm going to start on the edge and I'm really going to pull this tight. I'm going to pull this as tight as I can, really tight, super, super tight as I can pull it. The tighter I pull it, the stronger that reinforcement is going to be. So I'm pulling it really, really tight. Now I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to pull that really, really tight too. So I'm going to wrap that tape around. I want to make sure it's making contact with my stick and with the paper base of my triangle. So I'm wrapping it really tight and then I'm going to smooth those edges down. So I'm putting these rubber bands that I have on here, and I don't have any rubber bands. I just have some old hair bands that used to belong to my niece. So I put those on the edges to kind of reinforce where that tape might not do the job. And I'm going to put some tape in the middle part too. You always want to put your tape and your other forms of adhesive on the ends and definitely in the middle. You don't want your middle part to be weak. So I'm going to pull it really tight, super, super tight. Then I'm going to smooth my tape down. And there I have my triangle with my reinforced base. So I'm going to take my chopstick and I'm going to put it on the bottom part of my handle. I'm not putting it on the top part of my handle because it's not as long as my handle, and that's okay. And I'm pulling my tape tight and I'm wrapping it around. And I'm going to show you in a second, we don't want sticks to go along the entire handle because we're going to have to attach our triangle. And we don't want the sticks to get in the way necessarily. So I'm just going to use this blue painter's tape. So I've got a nice long strip and I'm going to put it on in the shape of an X. So I'm going to start where the base of my triangle is connected to my handle and I'm going to put it on diagonally. So I'm going to pull it as tight as I can on both sides. I'm really going to pull it tight, tight, tight as I can. Super, super tight, and then I'm going to smooth it down. And that's not good enough yet. I still have a lot more taping to do. So I'm going to come in, and because my top part is, wiggling around, I'm going to try and tape down my top part. I'm going to both pull it really tight, and then I'm going to smooth it around so I'm getting that top part so it's not wiggling. Okay, now I'm coming in with my second piece of tape for the base, and I'm going to make the shape of an X. So I'm going to go diagonal in the opposite direction that I just went. So I'm going to pull that really tight and I'm going to tape it around. So here I'm going to try and make sure that the triangle, the tip of the triangle, is connecting more with my handle. So I'm going to pull that tape tight, make sure it's making contact with the triangle. This is a really good time to use diagonal taping, to put your tape on diagonal instead of side to side or up and down. So I'm doing this in an X shape too. So now I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to pull it nice and tight. And there we go. And I'm going to smooth that down, pull it nice and tight. So now here is my crossbow. It's not as strong as I would like ideally, but I think it's going to work. So now I'm going to tie my rubber bands together in a slip knot. Okay, so I'm going to put the two circles together, and now this is how you make a slip knot. I reach through one, and I'm going to pull the other side through, just like that. Don't worry if you have to practice a whole bunch of times to make your slip knot. It took me a lot of practice when I was a kid to learn a slip knot, but they're really, really handy. So now I'm going to twist that around, make it nice and tight. It's going to keep my draw rubber band, the rubber band that I used to launch my arrow, from coming loose. So there it is. There is my rubber bands. And that's how I'm going to launch my arrows. So remember, you want to try and use two other rubber bands to attach to the base of your triangle. And that's how I'm going to be able to shoot. Just like that.